The rise and fall of Rick and Morty. Personally, this is my favorite show, and I don't know all about this rise and fall stuff, but let's get into this video, man.
Rick and Morty, known for being the show that is over-theorized and known for birthing the worst fans, has nevertheless solidified itself as an iconic animated show. However, like any show, it's had its incredible highs and astronomical lows. This video won't be a play-by-play of all episodes or seasons, but mainly touches on the standout episodes and the cool overarching themes. Let's take a look back at the rise and fall and potential rise again for Rick and Morty. Season 1 was a good start, decent comedy and fun plots, but the show does a complete 180 in just the 6th episode, Rick Potion number 9. Morty gets Rick to make a love potion for his crush, which quickly backfires and destroys the entire world. Rick finds a parallel timeline where he fixed the issue, but where he and Morty also die. Our Rick and Morty...
Bruh, like, can you imagine you're a scientist, and your grandson knows you're a scientist, and he's like, bruh, use your science stuff to create a love potion so I can get laid. Like, do you understand what that request sounds like? It kind of sounds like it would be an insult to your intelligence, honestly.
They slip in and take their place, with Rick saying a line that encapsulates his entire character.
What about the reality we left behind? What about the reality where Hitler cured cancer, Morty? The answer is don't.
Yeah, sometimes this show, Bri, asks crazy questions and it's like, what could have been if that was actually real?
Think about it.
Words cannot describe how shocked I was when I first saw this episode. For one, it happened 6 episodes after the show began. It changes the show from just having a boy and his grandpa going on wacky adventures akin to that of Back to the Future, to introducing existentialism and the idea of what matters. I love how shocked Morty is, but Rick is so nonchalant, almost like he's done this countless times before. This works as incredible foreshadowing.
And in later seasons, the opposite was the same, as in like Rick was the one who was moving like Morty in this episode, you feel me? But if you haven't watched that yet, why haven't you? But I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Maybe this video will though.
Or when we find out about his backstory. Episode 10, Close Encounters of the Rick Kind, was the episode that introduced one of the most popular characters in the show, Evil Morty. This one character spawned heaps of fan theories, which a lot of people are convinced had the writers change up the narrative. The most popular fan theory is that our Morty isn't our Rick, C-137's original grandson, but in fact, the Evil Morty was his original Morty. The theory tracks since Evil Morty clearly had a vendetta against him personally, and also, there's this line from Rick.
A cocky Morty can lead to some big problems. Can be a real bad thing for everybody.
Oh yeah, how's that?
I'll explain when you're older.
We do eventually find out if this is true or not, which I'll get to later. Overall, the first season was a phenomenal start to the show, not only having serious and compelling storylines that the fans loved, but also some incredible comedy.
What are you guys talking about?
Apparently nothing.
You asked them if Pluto's a planet, didn't you?
No!
It's not. Shut up.
Yeah, by the way, Jerry plays the role of a very insecure father, and like, bruh, it's just hilarious throughout the show. He did get some episodes where he was kind of trying to redeem himself, but eventually they keep on trying to make him the loser of the show, bro, which is sad, by the way. He's the father, bro.
Rick.
Whoa!
I don't want to shoot nobody.
They're just robots, Morty. It's okay to shoot them. They're robots.
Oh, you shut up.
Glenn's bleeding to death. Someone call his wife and children.
Bruh, can you imagine they just told you, hey, just shoot them, they're robots. And you hear this dude be like, call his wife and children.
Robots, Rick!
It's a figure of speech, Morty. They're bureaucrats. I don't respect them.
Season 2 was just as good. One of the standout episodes is Total Recall. So the house is infested with these parasites that embed themselves in memories, making it impossible for people to tell who is a parasite or an actual member of the family. Such a simple yet genius idea for an episode. Also, it features for me the funniest line in the entire show.
It's disgusting.
Steve wasn't real?
He's a real piece of shit.
While having a major
Yeah, but like, Rick actually had a great strategy. He was like, let's start with shoulders. You feel me? Like, shoot a shoulder. These things, wherever you shoot them, they turn into this thing. But if you shoot a shoulder and it's not really that thing, at least they survive. You feel me? But like, he had a great strategy of like, I'm taking shoulders. I'm starting with the weird girl, and he pointed the gun at Summer.
cliffhanger for the show at the end. This season also never failed to get a laugh out of me.
That's what you used my universe for? To run your car?
Yeah, but don't flatter yourself. There's always AAA, you fucker.
Why don't we just use your portal gun?
It's in the car, dip ass.
Just trying to do right.
Yeah, well, that's not really the theme of tonight's party. Heads up, rapists.
The third season started with Rick breaking out of prison and destroying the entire Galactic Federation and the Citadel. Then came the Pickle Rick incident. Usually I'd just skip this, but considering this episode caused an uproar in the fan base, I have to briefly mention it. I mean,
Pickle Rick!
yeah, this one line,
I'm Pickle Rick!
awoke something in some fans for some reason.
Suck it, motherfucker!
Aside from what horrors this episode spawned with the fandom, the episode is actually good. It has over-the-top action, and to me, one of the funniest exchanges in the show.
I couldn't let you out even if you hadn't killed 2 men.
You should know, those men killed themselves.
And how is that?
They didn't let me out.
Solenia.
Episode 5 shows the aftermath of the Citadel with a kind of buddy cop plot with an alternate Rick and Morty. The ending was awesome too, showing the return of evil Morty. Unfortunately though, we wouldn't see him for a long time. The Toxic Rick episode was also fantastic, further developing Rick as a character. The season ends with Rick essentially losing his power in the family, and thus begins his downfall. Let's go to season 4. This is a season that I think is when the show started to go downhill. It had a good...
Nah, bruh. Season 4 was like, me personally, before the rest of I think it was at that point, I think it was only up to season 6, bruh. I hadn't watched season 6 yet, but like, I still feel like season 4, up to season 6, for me personally, season 4 was like the best, bro.
Start with Edge of Tomorty, Rick Die, Rick Pete. The Old Man in the Seat was also really good as it showed Rick's depression as he tries to cling to everything control from
A universe that takes whatever it wants.
It had funny moments with a pretty sad ending. But then came the Dragon episode. I've rewatched every episode of Rick and Morty a few times, but this one, along with the Sperm episode, I have only ever seen once. Listen, I don't know whether it was the writers parodying some heinous garbage on the internet, but this episode was way too weird and left a sour taste in my mouth. The talking cat plot was amazing though. For the first time, it showed that Rick actually cares for Jerry.
What in the... Oh, son of a bitch! Jerry, don't!
I want to see.
No, you do not!
It was the only episode where the side plot was better than the main plot. Now, I have to mention episode 6, Never Rick and Morty. The episode is pretty good, but man, there's such a thing as going too meta. That's another thing I need to mention. The first few times the writers broke the fourth wall in the show, it was funny, but now it's become the default. Almost every line has them referencing something out of the world and about standard writing tropes. The show Community had this as well, and it became exhausting there too. I'm guessing it's just one of Dan Harmon's go-to things to do, I guess. Anyway, this episode went even more meta by basically commentating on how a story is written, even mentioning Harmon's famous story circle. The season's ending was good, that just showed how much of an asshole Rick is by not even remembering which daughter of his is the clone, digging himself into an even deeper grave. Let's go to season 5. I have the least to say about the season, because to me, it is by far the weakest. This is when the show reached an all-time low. As I mentioned before, this season featured the Sperm episode titled Rick Dependent Spray. I mean, the whole plot was just disgusting and wacky in the worst way possible. So Morty inadvertently creates sperm monsters because he was horny. And then there's the thing with the horse people that come in and then...
No. I think this episode was more educational than some might actually want to look at it, because like it shows that you gooning always has results, you feel me? So every time you goon, think about the possibility of your goon emissions turning into like something that can actually destroy the world, you feel me? It was actually warning us against gooning, but unfortunately no one heeded the warning. Now look at the internet, bro. Everything is goon culture now.
And the giant baby, yeah, this is too much for me. I will say that while it had an atrocious start, the last 3 episodes hit. We finally get the backstory of Bird Person, and then we get the showdown of Evil Morty and Rick. The lore drop was insane in this episode. It showed that the fabricated backstory in season 3 episode 1 was true, and it shows how Rick became a psychopath. It is also revealed that Evil Morty isn't really evil. The guy's just sick of Rick and wants to piss off by exiting the central finite curve. The season ended spectacularly with fantastic visuals as Evil Morty left with a remix of his main theme playing in the background. It got me majorly excited for what's to
Yeah, bro, that song was great though.
Season 6 started off with another big lore bomb. Remember that theory of Evil Morty being our Rick's original Morty? Well, the writers actually reversed that entire theory. Rick Prime, the Rick who killed C-137's wife and daughter, is actually our Morty's original grandfather. Yeah, when I found that out, I lost my mind. All the hidden pieces of the show finally just came into place. This is exactly why Rick chose this universe to come to, and probably why he didn't give a shit about destroying it in Rick Potion number 9. The episode had good character development from Rick, and now that portal travel had been destroyed, I was excited to see how Rick would handle not being able to use the portal gun all the time. The rest of the season was just fine, not nearly as bad as season 5, but not nearly as good as seasons 2 or 3 of the show. I did enjoy the fact that Rick had become so low in the family hierarchy that he just secluded himself from anything and everyone to focus solely on Rick Prime. The season ends with Rick and Morty reconciling and building up the next season to be all about hunting Rick Prime. As I stated before, I expected this arc to be much longer than Evil Morty's. I expected them to milk it, and the writers show that they are also aware of the possibility of overdoing certain plots.
Nah, bro, I kind of feel like some things just should be overdone, you feel me? Like this, if this was overdone, bro, but like the thing is, the Rick Prime hunting thing, it ended in the middle of the season. Like that should have been a season finale, bro. and leave fans being like, yo, what now? Is there gonna be another season? Is this over? You feel me? But they made it in the middle of the season, which is still amazing. But like, I feel like they should have milked it throughout the whole of season 7, then made it a season finale.
You fixed my rift. It was all canonical and shit. We could have milked that thing for a whole season, or like a 3-episode arc at least.
But instead, they pulled a masterclass in subverting expectations. So before this season, Rick and Morty was in a bit of a slog phase. At this point, I was excited to see what would happen with Rick Prime, but fully expected to have a long and drawn out build up to it. Most of the episodes were fun watches. Even with the ridiculous plot of That's a Morte, that episode, while having a ridiculous concept, had really good visual storytelling that didn't need to go as deep as it did. And oh boy, episode 5 was ridiculous. I've gone into how good this episode is in a previous video, check it out in the description below. But essentially, what is supposed to be a season finale of an episode, even as big as a series finale,
as I said, bro, like they should have made this the season finale, but they made it like in the middle. Still great, but should have been the finale.
is casually dropped in the middle of the season. Evil Morty returns and teams up with our Rick to finally take down Rick Prime. The voice acting was top notch, the action was superb, and the ending was fantastic. I almost felt empty after watching it. Rick's mission is done, so now where do we go from here? This is exactly what the writers wanted.
This is the episode I was telling you that, like, this is when Rick had the same reaction as Morty did when he found out that both of them are dead in that reality. But he's like, I've done my life mission. Now what? Do I keep being alive? What do I do now?
Us to feel. Let's skip to the season finale, Fear No Mort. Hot take, this is my favorite episode of the entire show. In a previous video, I discussed how the Rick Prime episode was described by the writers as what the fans wanted, but this episode was what the fans needed. To summarize, it had massive character growth for Rick and even bigger character growth for Morty. It was a self-contained episode that didn't require big set pieces, crazy lore, or anything like that. Just an episode about what Morty is afraid of. Just that shot of Rick looking down at the fear hole, taking a minute before trusting his own grandson to not go down there, was one of the best scenes in the show. The cherry on top is him placing a photo of Morty on the billboard of who conquered the fear hole. Take a step.
Nah, but though I feel like Rick should have jumped in there, Brian. So we could have like had a whole other episode in the following episode. Yeah, we could have had a whole other thing in the whole next episode of just Rick, because we had this one of just Morty.
Step back even. Rick keeps a photo of Morty in his wallet. He does find him irreplaceable. Honestly, if the show ended here, I'd be totally satisfied. I'm pretty sure all loose ends are tied up at this point. Rick Prime is dead, Evil Morty's ditched everyone, and Jerry and Rick have a good relationship now. What more is it that they could do? Well, the last time I said that, they gave me my favorite episode today. The show has had some really low lows, but some incredible highs too. When I thought it was all over, they pulled me back in. I'm confident that they can deliver some really good and high quality episodes in the next season. Rick and Morty knows how and when to subvert expectations, and sometimes going simpler is better than going crazy and over the top. That's what season 7 did spectacularly. I just hope the creators know when to call it a day before we end up with a show that's overstayed its welcome. Have it end on top. If you like this video, you also like the next video.
Yeah, bro, that's the end of this video. The rise and fall of Rick and Morty, and the rise again. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.